Yes, we are being recorded. Welcome, everybody. This is the Level 2 class. We are using the Black Lowry Songbook. And my apologies for this mic right now, but that's okay. We do what we have to do when technology decides to go against us. So today, we are in the Black Lowry Songbook. And as you know, we are going from the beginning of the book for 1 week, and then we're going to go to the end of the book for another week so that we go back and forth between the easy and the hard songs. So if you are just starting level 2, please don't freak out and run away because this song might be a little hard. If you learn one thing today, one thing about your chords, one thing about your right hand, if you learn one thing, you are 100% successful. And everything we do is to just make your playing more enjoyable, more fun, and make your practicing a little bit easier. So what do we know about the song on page 78? It's called I Can't Get Started With You. It's by Vernon Duke and Ira Gershwin all the way back in 1936. But guess what? Good songs are good songs are good songs. And this one you'll hear from now till the end of eternity. For all the jazz players that are out there, this is an excellent, excellent song. It was introduced in the film Ziegfeld Follies of 1936, where it was performed by Bob Hope and Eve Arden. By the way, just to do a quick sound check, is this microphone sounding okay? Thumbs up? Yeah, Janice says yes? Okay. Okay, good. And it was also done by Bunny Berrigan. He actually was a trumpet player who worked with Benny Goodman and Tommy Dorsey, and he actually started making this very famous because he started his own band in 1937, and he chose this song as his theme song, Bunny Berrigan. Wow, what a cool name to have. What a cool musician's name. So that's what's going on with I Can't Get Started. And as you can see, if you take a look at the chords, yeah, we got lots of them. So the C chord everybody should have. And remember, I'm going to put this on the chords so you can see the chords a little bit better. All right. Left hand is always pinky on red, pointer on blue, thumb on green. All right, now, in this section of the book, they have taken the colors away. So you still have pinky on C. If you need to take your colored pencils and make the C red, please feel free to do so because cheating is 100% okay. It really is, because whatever makes this the easiest for you. G is always going to be green with your thumb. And if you want to make all your G's green in the book, please do so. F is always blue with the pointer. All right, lots of chords in this song, so let's start. The D minor is the second chord we have. D minor is in the box. That means you must play 2 fingers, always. 2 fingers on the minors. There is a mathematical formula. It is the letter. Let's see if this is loud enough. There we go. It is the letter and 3 keys to the right, counting the black ones. 1, 2, 3. So the 2 notes are D and F. And did you hear how the tonality changed? Here's D. That's a major chord. D minor is D and F, 4th finger and pointer. Wow. It gives you a somber, sorrowful, scary movie music type of a sound. And if you look in your window, it will tell you DM. DM. I'm trying to get the whole, okay, that's a little bit better there. Okay. If you look in your window, it will tell you. So if you're not quite hearing something right and it sounds weird, look in your window and check. Double check to make sure that you've got the right chord. If not, go back and refigure where your fingers need to go so you have the right chord. All right, now on top of that, you have a D minor 7. If it is outside of the box, you don't need it. It is 100% optional. A minor 7 will always be 3 fingers. So if you don't want to ever play 3-fingered chords, skip the D minor 7. But how would you make it if you did play it? Well, the rule for sevens are the letter of the chord, which is D, and 2 to the left. So minors are 3 to the right, sevens are 2 to the left, and a minor 7 is a combination of the two. So if I go D, it's C and D for the 7, and the F is for the minor, 3 up. So now if you look in the window, it says D minor 7. So why is the 7 the optional one and not the minor? Well, listen to the tone of the chord. D major, D minor. Let's add the 7 and you'll hear how it just gives a little bit of spice. It's not all that necessary. Okay, see what the 7 did? It's very subtle. What it does is it makes the chord feel like it's leading into the next chord. So you don't need it, especially if you're just getting started on chords. Forget about it. Just cross that out. I know, Virginia, you like to just white yours out so you don't even have to look at it, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. And the D minor, D and F, that's what you need. Now the next chord's a G. Green thumb goes on a green G, and above the box, what do we have? A G7. What's the rule? The letter minus 2. So it's G minus 2, 1, 2. So F and G at the same time with your pointer and your thumb, because that's where your hand is. Whoops, let's let in, let's see, I don't work real well with this hand. Okay, let's let her in. Okay, now the D minor can go very easily to the G7 because you have a common finger. You're going from a D F to an F G. So you can do a touch and release and a touch and release if you wish, or you can just simply add the G, lift up the D and add the G. Here's the rule as far as holding down chords. You can always add a finger to change a chord. Don't try to subtract a finger to change a chord. What I mean is this. If you're going from a D minor to an F, for example, you can't just lift up the D and expect the F to play. You can't just subtract a chord. But if I'm on F, I can add a finger to make the D minor sound. Now, if that's not making any sense to you, don't worry about that either, because all you need to know is touch and release, and it'll all be good. Now, what am I doing in between here? I'm doing the no chord, which stops my chord, and what that is any 3 consecutive keys in a row. You have to use 2 whites and a black, or 2 blacks and a white, and then figure which 2 fingers or which 3 fingers are you going to use to make that no chord, and be consistent. I like to do my thumb on the crack of the F and the G and my pointer on that F sharp, because that for me is easy and I don't have to move my hand from this nice home base position, which we're going to keep forever, by the way. So get these 2 fingers up in those 2 black keys so that you have bumpers and your hand just stays right there. Then any chord you touch, then that no chord should just pop right in there. There are some books that say go ahead and do a smash chord. I don't like smash chords because, ladies, it's not very ladylike to smash things. So we're going to do an accurate no chord, 3 keys at a time, just touch and release. Some people do it down here. Some people do 2 blacks with these 2 fingers and the white one underneath. That works too. Whatever's comfortable for your hand. Then be consistent. Do it the same way every time, and then the no chord becomes another chord. Another chord. And you will see it in the middle of songs because you actually have it in the middle of this song. I will tell you this. No chords are always optional, so you don't ever have to play them. But they give a little bit of drama. They give that white space in between phrases, so it makes your music a little more flowing. But if you're not ready for those yet, don't worry about them. All right, so the first line is going to be C, D minor, D and F, G, thumb on G, or if you want to play G7, F and G. Let's do the next line. You have an E chord. That's just third finger on E. If you wish to play the 7, what are the two notes? Remember the rule? The letter minus 2. 1, 2. D and E, and you can write them in. D and E, fourth finger and third finger. The A minor is in the box. What does that mean? You must play 2 fingers. You cannot get away with just playing the thumb on A. You have the little M there, you must play the minor. What's the rule for minors? The letter plus 3 up. Now this is one of those oddball ones because what's happening is you're going to end up going out of your box. What do I mean by your box? Do not ever go below the red C. You want that to be your very last key that you play with your chords. So if you have to put a 3x5 card in there, do it. And you never ever want to go above the B. So you're going to be playing all your chords, and you can effectively play all your chords right there. So why do we have all these extra things? Well, those of you who come to my advanced classes know that once you start adding extra chords, you sometimes need to go out of the box. But for now, learning your easy play chords, do not go outside the parameters of C on the bottom to B on the top. So how are we going to find the A minor? It's the A, here's the A, plus 3 up. 1, 2, okay, I'm out of my box, but that's okay. 3, A and C. And as you can hear, it sounds like A minor, and the window says it's A minor. But I don't want to move my hand up here because I go out of my box. Okay, so let's put it down an octave. Uh-oh. If I put it down an octave, what happens? I again go out of my box. So how do we play this? We're going to take the one that's out of the box and put it back in the box. And we're going to play it with pinky on C, thumb on A. Every time. Do not give your left hand a choice. This is the secret to playing chords. Don't give your left hand a choice, because when you get to that A minor in the music, you're going to have to stop and think, where do I want to play that? Do I want to play it here? Do I want to play it here? Or do I want to play it here? And then you have to think. That's going to just stop the flow of the music. You're also going to have to look to move your hand, and you most definitely don't want to do that. So since your pinky's already on the C, you're going to put your thumb on the A. Memorize the A minor chord just like that. Your fingers will thank you. If you absolutely have to play the A minor 7, it is the C, the G, and the A. Why the extra G? Because the rule for 7s is the letter of the chord, which is A, minus 2, 2 to the left. 1, 2, so there's the G. And you can actually just take your thumb and do that on the G and the A at the same time. If you absolutely have to do the 7. Otherwise, white out the A minor 7 and just play C and A. And if all you do, if that's the only thing that you learned today, then you're 100% successful. That's good. Then you have a D. D is fourth finger on the D. If you want to play the D7, it's a 2-fingered chord. The letter minus 2 to the left. 1, 2. C and D, write them in. Then that no chord, which you can put in parentheses because it's optional. Now you should have a little bit of repetition. You do. You have a C, a D minor, D and F, a G or G7. Third line, C, A, just reach your thumb up to the A. If you wish to play the 7, it's the G and A. Back to the D. See how my hand just doesn't move? It stays in one spot, going to the G7. And work everything in little sections, 4 measures at a time. I've flown around the world in a plane. I've settled revolutions in Spain, and stop.
I have a question, Dawn.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Mary.
After, like in row 2,
Mm-hmm.
where it says D seventh, or you can just play the D.
Right.
That is for the note B, and then there's a rest, and then for the next 3 notes, is that no chord for those next 3 notes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. But if you want to just play it on the D7, it's going to be okay.
Okay.
If you
Well,
just
I might feel better. You said it's better if you have those pauses in between.
it's okay to put parentheses around the no chord and not even worry about it. If you just want to play D and then play those 3 notes, it's going to be okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
no worries.
Good.
That's a very good question. Yes. No worries. Okay. The same reason the no chord that's on line 3, that's the next 4 measures. The North Pole I've charted, but can't get started with you. Oh, poor guy. He's having a tough time with the ladies. Okay. So work it in 4 measure sections, and I think you'll find it easier. And if you just want to work the chords, put on your rhythm, which in this case I would definitely suggest standard full band or any big band at 84 or less, meaning your tempo, 84 or slower, and just play the chords. And you can sing the song in your head. Now, if you don't know the song, I'll play it a couple of times today so we have it. You know what? Let's just do that. I will play the song up to this point with the 2 hands just so you can hear what it is. Now, we're in the key of C, so that would mean I'd start with the C intro. I'm not even going to do that. But we have 3 lone little 8th notes at the beginning, all by themselves. What does that mean? It's an incomplete measure. That is one of the toughest places to come in, those pickup notes, because what beat do we actually start on?
Second.
Nope. This is tough. This is one of the tougher ones. 3.5.
Oh, 4, yeah.
3.5, yeah. So it's going to be the half of 3, the second half of 3, then 4, then the second half of 4. Because remember, every 8th note gets a half count. So when you have to come in on a half a beat, on a half of the count, it makes it a little hard. So my recommendation is if those 3 notes bother you, if that kind of timing is tough, skip them and start right there, the first beat of that measure. Don't even worry about those 3 notes if you don't want to. Just start on the first beat of the measure, and you will be successful playing. Okay? Never do anything that's too hard. We can always learn it later. All right, so I'm going to play the first 8 measures just so you can hear what it sounds like. This is at 84, standard full band, which is Frank and the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the first 4 measures. Not that easy. Let's go on with the next 4 measures. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, line 3. The A7, the D or D7, and the G7 are optional chords. You don't need any of those 3. Those are just lead-in chords to take you to the next section, which is actually a repeat of what we just did. Around the golf course, I'm under par, and all the movies want me to star. I've got a house, a showplace, but I get no place with you. Oh, poor guy. My goodness. Okay, so let's do those chords for that section. C again, D minor or D minor 7, we already have, D and F. G or G7, F and G. Line 4, the E chord. See how this all repeats? So if you take it apart in little sections, it's going to make it work easier for you. The E is just third finger on E or E7. D and E. A minor, C and A. Do not do anything other than C and A. Then D is the fourth finger on D or C and D. Let's just get that off and just do easy. All right, now we're going to continue. No chord if you wish. C chord, the last line is a D minor, D and F. G, C, oh, there's a new chord, F minor. F minor. First of all, ignore the arrow. The arrow is the old-fashioned way of learning easy play music back before they had easy play music, and that just tells me if I was playing a full-fingered chord, which one of the chords is going to be a black note. Okay, but we're going to use the easy play rules, which are the letter, which is F, plus 3 up the keyboard. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, F and A flat. And which fingers? The ones that are right here. Pointer on F, go ahead and push it up. Thumb on A flat. Because you don't want this hand to get out of position. So if you push your fingers up, it's easier to reach. F, A flat. Yeah, we've just learned a whole bunch of new chords. If you learned one of them, you are 100% successful today. Yeah. And don't go home and say, today I'm going to learn all my minor chords. Yes! Don't do it. Learn them as they show up in your music, and you're going to be...
Dawn, I'd like to ask you a question. When you started to play this so we could get the feel for the song, did you use those first 3 notes?
I did. I did.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I'll play it again. I'll play that whole first page again. This time, I won't use those 3 notes, and I'll just start with the B. Whoops, let's go back to, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't play them that time. These are optional chords. You don't really need them, but if you play them, that's fine. Okay, see how my left hand just stays in one spot? That's what you should be pushing for, is to just keep that left hand right there. And that way, eventually, you'll be able to reach all your chords. Yeah, right now you have to look. You're just getting started with it. But don't worry, later on, you won't have to. Your C, F, and G should be starting to be pretty regular, so you can start to feel those chords. And then the rest of them, they'll just fill in, because all you're doing is moving a finger or two to keep your hand right in this home base position. Let's go to page 2. The A chord is good. Now, if you go to the top of the second page, you have an E minor 7 and an A7. You can cross them out. They are optional. You don't need either one of them. But here's the trick. If you decide to play the E minor or E minor 7, then you have to play the A7 too. Don't just play one of them. Play them both. If you want, you can just leave the whole thing on A. You're going to be fine. The D is easy. That's your fourth finger. At the end of the line, you have a D minor. White out that D minor 7. You don't need it. The G or G7, F and G. We're on the second line. C, A, A7 is G and A if you wish. D, G or G7. The D7 is C and D. The G7 is F and G. And all the chords should repeat from now on. Everything you see is an exact repeat of what we already did. So you should be able to just go through and fill in the letters on your music for what the chords are. It's okay to write F and G. It's okay to write 4 and 2 if you want to write in the fingers as well.
Dawn, I have a question.
Okay.
If I'm doing a G7,
Mhm.
I use my thumb across the G and the F. If
You
I'm doing
you
F7,
you
is that
can, but why would you? Because your pointer's already on F. See what I'm
okay?
saying? If your
Yeah,
pointer's already there, it's probably easier just to push down the pointer and thumb. If you
okay.
do that, I'm okay with that. If it's more comfortable for you, don't let me stop you.
Is that going to get me in trouble down the road?
Nah. No, it won't.
Okay.
It won't.
But I shouldn't do like a seven, an F7 would be wrong to go all the way backwards with my thumb.
An F7 is a E flat and F.
Right.
So it would be pointer on F, third finger on E flat.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
You try to keep your hand right where it lays all the time, so that if you have an F7, it's F and 2 down. Okay? See how I just don't have to move my hand? That's the whole idea, is to play things so that it makes it easy to keep your hand in this home base position. And
I
then
get it.
got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good, but that's a good question. That's a very good question. All right. Now a C7, that's the one. The C7, you don't want to go down here. Because what happens? You just go outside your box. You don't want to do that. So if you have a C7, you're going to have to do exactly the same thing you did with the A minor. It's the C minus 2, and you went outside your box, so take the one that went outside the box and go ahead and put it back in the box. And now a C7 would be played like this. Okay? You never ever want to go backwards. Play it here, because 99 times out of 100, and I know we don't have any C7s in this song, but 99 times out of 100, the next chord is an F chord. And guess where my pointer is? Right there. So the whole idea is to learn your chords so that it makes it easy for your hand to move from one to the other. That's the whole idea. All right, I'm going to play the whole song. I will go over the right hand with you, but if you want to hear what the whole song sounds like, if you want to play along with me, yeah, that's a good idea. If you want to play chords with me, let's slow it down. Go ahead and play those chords. I'll try to fill in where we are. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. E minor, G, E, A minor. Play the right notes, it might sound right. Okay, we're going to do You're So Supreme. 2, 3, 4, top of the page. Second line. The first ending has repeat dots and your pickup notes. So the dots take you back to the dots at the beginning. So if you wanted to color code those, like make yellow dots and yellow dots, your eyes will follow the colors faster than anything else. Now, if you just learn the first page of music and stop at the C chord, stop right there. Or you could play those two and stop right there. Stop right there. This is the bridge part. The part that I messed all up? Yep. That's the bridge part. So if you stop right there, you will be 100% successful learning this song. And you don't even have to worry about the bridge. Because all the chords I think that we learned are on that first page. All right, so let's take a look at page 1. Let's do some fingering. The pickup notes are C1, E2, G3, B4, and C5. Now, why is that significant? Because we're starting on a low C, and we are stretching all the way up the octave. You got to skip notes. And you're going to have to look. So make sure that you get that comfortable. So the C is a 5. A3, E1, F2, G3. E1, G2, B3, D4, E5, C3, G1, A2, B3. The North Pole, C1, E2, G3, B4, C5. Same thing. That's going all the way up an octave. And just skipping notes with your fingers. A3, E1, F2, G3. G3, now we have an A flat. That little flat sign is always going to be in front of the letter to be sharped or flatted. And remember, flats are like flat tires. They go down. So a flat is always the first black key down the keyboard from the letter. So an A flat is that middle black key in the set of 3. That's a 4 finger, by the way. G3, G3, A flat 4. Low C1, D2. Third line E3. C1, E2, G3, B4, C5. Again, that's the same stretch that we've done twice already in the song. A3, E1, F2, G3. E1, G2, B3, D4, E5. Aha, there's another octave, E to E, an octave long. Stretching your fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up the line. C3, G1, A2, B3. Low C1, E2, G3, B4, C5. There it is again. A3, E1, F2, G3, G3, A flat 4, C1, D2, C1. And then the bridge, in case you want it, that's all the farther you actually have to go for this song. But if you want to continue, it's C1, E2, G4, A5. F sharp, there's that little sharp sign, and it will be the first black key up the keyboard to the right. F sharp is always that first one in the set of 3. And there will always be a sharp sign or a flat sign, depending on what it is, in front of the note that you are supposed to make sharped. So every single one of those Fs has a sharp key in front of it. But you're going to play it with the third finger, so I should have played it with the right finger, my bad. F sharp 3, all the way across. E2, A5, E2, 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 In case I forgot one, it's an E2. D1, A5. E2, 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 E2. D1, A5. Put a check mark in that rest. We have to lift our hand. Now, you could have done it before then. You could have actually done a little check mark and done an A2. That might have worked good too. You know what? I'm going to change that. Put a little check mark after the word you, because the A for and is capitalized. So let's take the breath after both day and night of you and do a little hand lift and do A2, B3, D5. That works better. D5, B3, G2, check mark. Why? Because that's the end of the question. And then they're starting again. In 1929, I sold short. So let's go back to that low C. 1, E2, G3, B4, C5. There it is again. Same thing. We're using the same finger pattern all throughout the song. A3, E1, F2, A3. I'm sorry. I looked at the screen. G3. E1, G2, B3, D4, E5. C3, G1, A2, B3. Low C1, E2, G3, B4, C5. There it is again. A3, F1, A2. Here's a C sharp. The C sharp is the first black key up the keyboard. It's a 3. E4, F5. Same finger pattern across an octave. D3, A1, B2. First ending C3. Your pickup notes are C1, E2, G3. And your second ending is a C3. Questions? Not an easy song. Not an easy song. So we're going to play it again with the right hand, only this time I'm going to slow it down even more, and we're going to try it. Now, if you want to try both hands, go for it. Just keep yourself muted. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Third line. probably the hardest passage right there, because I can't get started with you that second to the last line. So don't worry about it. Like I said, if you get the first page, you get to the bottom of the first page, you are 100% successful. This is a very difficult song. If you learned one thing today, if you just learned one thing, then you are 100% successful. If you learn two, woohoo, give yourselves a hand. Okay, next week we go back to the beginning. Last week we did Marianne and Silent Night. Next week we will do the birthday song, because When the Saints Go Marching In is just a bonus song. We had that in level 1. So we will do the birthday song. Now that's an important song to learn for obvious reasons. But your chords are all going to be red, blue, and green. So take a look at that before next week, and that's the one we'll work on. And we will play together some of these earlier songs that we have in the book. So I hope you join me for class next week. Have a very safe 4th of July, by the way. Celebrate our independence of our nation, our wonderful nation. Those of you that live in the villages or points nearby, we are having our very first in-store concert this Saturday, the 3rd of July. It will be patriotic music, and it will be on The Fabulous Patriot. So that's where we're at for what's going on in the villages. So check out your
What time is
closest
that?
stores. That'll be 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yep, 1 o'clock. Any questions?
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you learned something. If you have any more questions, and you may, as you start playing this on your own, please feel free to contact me at 5028@fletchermusic.com, or contact your personal assistant and say, hey, Dawn taught this and I'm just a little unsure of it. So, they'll be more than happy to help you out with that too.
Thank you, Dawn, very much for the lesson
welcome.
today.
Have a good
Appreciate
day.
it. So glad to be back.
Thank
Have
you.
Have a
Oh,
fabulous
Bye-bye.
day. Some of you I'll see in level 1 later on today, and some of you I will see in other classes, and some of you I will wait and see until next week, level 2, again on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
You're awesome.
Hey,
Don't think I'll make it.
8 o'clock for me.
Don't think I'll make it
See
this
you at 8
afternoon,
next
Dawn.
week.
You don't think so, Mr. David? Okay,
No,
well, yeah.
probably not. But
Yeah.
hopefully, I'll pick you up in the car on the way home tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Okay, all right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Dawn.
Have
Dawn.
a nice
You're
day.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.